So, in yesterday's class, there is Rutherford alpha scattering experiment. So, see once again the point, it is very, very important. That is, the number of alpha particles, scattered by an angle theta is proportional to z square into cosecant, not cos, it is cosecant power 4 theta by 200. It is cosecant to the power 4 theta by 2. So see here, that is very, very important. It is not cos, it is cosecant to the power theta by 2, which is directly proportional to z square and inversely proportional to sine to the power 4 theta by 200. That is number of scattered lines. By using this, we calculate a problem yesterday. So please be conscious, it is cosecant, not cos. Okay, that is the correction here. So now there is already we solve a problem based on this topic. Okay, now I am going to explain the continuity part of yesterday's class. That is Planck's quantum theory. Planck's quantum theory, it is applicable for black body radiation. So what is this Planck's quantum theory? Already I explained. Every charged vibrating particle emits radiation in the form of small packets. Those packets of energy is called as quanta. The energy associated in that quanta in that packet is called as quantum. The energy is always an integral multiple of certain value, which is taken as h nu. Totally, E is equal to h nu. E is equal to h nu. For n particles, it is n h nu. E is equal to n h nu. Here h is taken as Planck's constant. Here h is equal to Planck's constant. Here h is equal to Planck's constant. Its value, that is equal to Planck's constant, 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 joule second, which is equal to 6.625 into 10 power minus 27 erg second, that is equal to 3.99 into 10 power minus 13 kilojoule second per mole. Kilojoule second per mole. Here n is equal to 1, 2, 3, etc. So the frequently used h values are only these two. Please mind, it is joule second, not joule per second. It is erg second, not erg second. It is joule second and erg second. These are h nu values. Already we know that nu is equal to c by lambda. Already we know that. See here, nu is equal to c by lambda. Now the formula E is equal to hc by lambda. E is equal to hc by lambda. Now apply those values. H is the Planck's constant, c is the constant value. So after applying the constant values, finally we get E is equal to 1 to 400 by lambda. So this lambda should be in angstroms. So the energy value is in electron volts. The coming energy value after applying that E value, H value constant value, C value constant. So finally we get energy E is equal to 1 to 400, 12,400 by actually 408 any exact value, but it is roughly we are taken as 12,400 by lambda. Lambda is in angstroms. The final we will get the energy is in electron volts. Okay, so this is very, very important. Therefore, E is equal to 1240 by lambda, which is in nanometers, which is in nanometers. So this is very, very important. For Avogadro number of particles, energy E is equal to NH nu. Here N is the Avogadro's number. So E is equal to NH nu, that is Avogadro's number. Okay. So all these are Planck, that is Planck's quantum theory. Applicable, that is values, and E is equal to NH nu for N particles. For Avogadro number of particles, that is for 1 mole of the substance particles, that is Avogadro's number, that is NH nu. So finally we get, this is very, very important, please be marked. So energy E is equal to 12,400 by lambda is in angstroms, 1240 by lambda is in nanometers, and every time we will get energy value in electron volts. Electron volts. Okay. So this is Planck's constant, Planck's period. This Planck's theory is applicable only for black body radiation, and explains how that black body radiation is absorbed or emitted. All the black body radiation is clearly explained by this Planck's quantum theory. Later, Einstein, the famous scientist, Einstein came here. So Einstein applied this Planck's quantum theory for all electromagnetic radiation. Einstein generalized this concept, and so Planck applied only for black body radiation. Einstein, the same theory is applied to all the electromagnetic radiations, nothing but light, everything else, all electromagnetic radiations. So see here, in Einstein's theory, in Planck's quantum theory, packet of energy is called as quanta. Okay, so here also, Einstein, packet of energy is taken as, that is quantum. So quantum. So all those values as it is used here. So there only for black body radiation, here is only here, that is electromagnetic radiation. All the electromagnetic radiation, the theory is applicable for all electromagnetic radiation. All electromagnetic radiation. So there the word quanta is used. Now the quanta is replaced with photon. So here the quantum is replaced with photon and photon of energy. Previously, quanta of energy is used. It is Planck's theory. Planck used this word. So the word is replaced with photon. It is by Einstein. And it is by Einstein. So that is Einstein, according to Einstein. So a packet of energy is called as a photon. Packet of energy is called as a photon. So that photon is applicable for light also, all electromagnetic radiation. So this is the entire part, my dear boys. So Planck's quantum theory restricted to only black body radiation. Einstein's generalization theory is applicable for all electromagnetic radiation. So just by replacing that quanta term is with the photon. All are identical, same values, same conditions. Okay, this is Planck's quantum theory. So very, very important. So already I sent a note to you based on problems based on this Planck's quantum theory. Did you complete that problems or not? Please tell me. All those problems you completed or not? Already I sent to you. Okay. Why not, Murli? Please complete those problems because based on this formula, so please complete all those formula. If you have any doubt, please post in our WhatsApp group. I will clarify the doubt. Okay. So now I'm going to explain the next topic, that is photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. So that is very, very interesting. That should be also available in your physics also. Okay. So now towards our chemistry. So what is this photoelectric effect? How to explain? Who proposed this theory? So these are all very, very important concepts. So, my dear boys, please complete those problems. So solve your own words by using your pen and paper. Don't see. Just solve your own words on your notes. Okay. So now our topic is photoelectric effect. No, the charting is not available for each and every student. Whatever you write, only visible to me, not for any other students. It is a private chart. Try it yourself. It is not possible. Just I am going to check once again, please. Yes, only with me. Chart is only with me. Okay, see here. It is very easy and interesting one, any. Please be conscious. Simple topic and most important towards your physics and chemistry also. Ani. The same theory, same explanation also will be with your physics also later in your second year, I think. Now it is in your first year, in particular chemistry. See here, photoelectric effect. What is this photoelectric effect? So photo, that word photo is applicable for light. The photo, applicable to light. By using light, electricity is nothing but electrons or something electrons or electricity will be generated. Electricity will be generated by using those electrons. So light, by using light, electricity is developed. How is that? That is explained with the help of this effect. That is called as a photoelectric effect. The concept of this photoelectric effect first observed by, that is discovered by Hertz. The scientist who discovered this concept is Hertz, in particular 1887 year ending. In 1887, Hertz discovered this concept. So just he discovered the concept, he didn't explain how this is possible. The explanation of this photoelectric effect, the concept is explained by Einstein. In particular, in 1905, it is explained by Einstein. So he is a famous scientist. For his photoelectric explanation, he got a Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize for Einstein is from photoelectric effect explanation part. So number of famous theories from Einstein are very a number of famous theories are there. So, but he collected his Nobel Prize for explanation of this photoelectric, a simple topic. By using this simple topic, he got that Nobel Prize. So that much interesting. So how is this possible? So who discovered this photoelectric effect? That is by Hertz. Who explained this photoelectric effect? That is explained by Einstein. So see here. So what is the concept here? So listen here very carefully. What Hertz identified? So that is, I am going to explain how Hertz identified this concept. See here. There is a metal surface. It is a metal surface. We don't know what is that metal surface. A beam of light. Incident on that metal surface. Automatically, an electron is ejected from metal surface. An electron is ejected from the metal surface. That ejects of electron from the metal surface when a beam of light having certain minimum frequency is incident on metal surface. This effect is called as photoelectric effect. What is photoelectric effect? When a beam of light having certain minimum frequency. So below that frequency, the eject of electrons are not possible. A beam of light having certain minimum frequency is incident on metal surface. An electron is ejected from the metal surface. So this is observed by Hertz. So because of photon of light, electron is ejected. Okay. So that's why there is ejection of electrons. That is, movement of electrons creates electricity. That means the electricity generates, the current generated is called as photocurrent. It is the current generated by that electron, by the ejection of that electron. The metal used for this purpose, is called as photometal. The metal used for this purpose is called as photometal. So when a beam of light having certain minimum frequency is incident on metal surface, what is this metal surface, sir? So those surfaces which gives electrons easily, those metal surfaces which gives electrons easily, means those metal surfaces whose ionization energy value low. What is the ionization energy? That is the energy required to remove the electron from the outermost orbit of a gaseous neutral atom. If it is low, less energy is sufficient to remove that electron. That is, that electron is coming out from the metal surface. That means those metals whose ionization energies are low are used as metal surfaces. So among all our entire elements, so ionization energy is low for 1A group metals. 1A group metals have low IP values. What are those 1A group elements? 1A group elements are lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So francium also there, that is radioactive element, no need to discuss here. These are the elements present in the first group of the periodic table. These elements have very low IP values when compared to all those. Hydrogen is not a alkali metal because hydrogen is a non-metal. Okay, so these are the metals: lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. So these are present in the first vertical column of the periodic table. That is lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Top to bottom, atomic sizes are increased. Atomic size, as atomic size increases, ionization energy values decreases. So that means among these elements, the least ionization energy for cesium. So and next chance for rubidium, next chance for potassium. That means among these elements, the best photometals are potassium, rubidium, cesium, because these have very least ionization energies when compared to other 1A group elements. That's why. So these metal surfaces, frequently used metal surfaces are potassium, rubidium, cesium. These are frequently used. Not only these, 1A group metals are generally used. 1A group metals are generally used because they have low IP values. Those metals which have low IP values, even though a small incident energy is supplied to them, automatically electron is ejected, because to get, after losing that electron, these elements get inert gas. That's it, these are ready to lose electrons. So a small amount of energy is sufficient to eject that electron. So that's why those electrons are ejected. Those ejected electrons are called as photoelectrons. So these electrons are called as photoelectrons. And the current generated with that electrons are called as a photocurrent. The metal used for their purpose is called as photometal. The entire concept is called as a photoelectric effect. The entire concept is called as a photoelectric effect. See, my dear boys, this is very, very important. What is photoelectric effect? When a beam of light incident on metal surface, automatically, without any time lag between incident light and ejection of electrons, automatically an electron is ejected from the metal surface. This phenomena is observed by head. So he called as light incident condition. There is a photoelectric effect. So because of incident of light, electron is ejected. There is a photoelectric effect is observed. That is head. Why, sir? How, sir? But he didn't explain the concept. So later, Einstein explained this concept. So now I am going to explain Einstein's explanation towards the ejection of this electron. So is there any doubt up to this? Is there any doubt up to this? So up to the statement? Up to the statement, is there any doubt? Now, I am going to draw a diagram here. The same diagram, technically, I am going to explain it. See this. Take a glass tube, close the both ends, close the both ends. Okay. This is the metal plate. That is nothing but our photometal, which is connected to battery negative, which is connected to battery negative. There is another terminal, which is the electrode, which is battery positive. Battery positive. This is cathodes. This is cathodes. This is anodes. This cathode is our photometal. This cathode is our photometal. Now, a beam of light is incident on this metal surface. A beam of light. There is an arrangement for incident of that metal. Now, electron is ejected. Now, electron is ejected from the metal surface. This is the ejected electron. So these are the electrons. So electrons have negative charge. Our plate has negative charge. That negative charge repulsions are possible. That is away from the metal plate. So these are the ejection of electrons. Those move towards anode. This is our photoelectric effect explained given by our head. Now how this concept is explained? So that is explained by Einstein. Now Einstein's explanation towards your photoelectric effect. Einstein's explanation towards your photoelectric effect. So what is that effect? See here. Einstein's explanation. This photoelectric effect explains the particle nature of light. So light has dual nature, both wave nature and particle nature. So but the particle nature of light is clearly explained by this photoelectric effect. How is this? See here. See here, my boys. Photoelectric effect. This is the metal plate, our alkali metal surface. This is the alkali metal atom which is connected to the surface area. Let us take alkali metal atom. This is his nucleus. Here is the electron which is present in the outermost orbit. There is an attractive force between this electron and this nucleus. This electron and that nucleus, there is an attractive force. There is a nuclear force of attraction is present over that electron. Now, because alkali metals have something bigger size than that of other elements, this nuclear attractive force is less. This nuclear attractive force is less because it is alkali metal. It is an alkali metal, its nuclear attractive force over the valence electrons is very, very less. Now, a beam of light is incident on that metal surface. A beam of light incident on that metal surface. Mind it, see here. So this light also has energy. That energy is nothing but E is h nu on you. E is equal to h nu. So that energy is there, certain frequency. So the frequency of this incident light is nu. Now the wavelength of that incident light is lambda. The frequency is nu. So it has energy E is equal to h nu or E is equal to hc by lambda. This is the energy associated with this beam of light. Energy, that means Planck's quantum theory is used to explain this concept, and that is by Einstein. Okay, so something energy radiation is applied. So this incident energy is useful to break the attractive force between this nucleus and the valence electron. That means, let us say, a 10 kilojoules of energy is incident. 10 kilojoules of energy, let it be. A 10 kilojoules of energy is incident. So to break this attractive force, there is a need of 8 kilojoules of energy. And to break this attractive force, so 8 kilojoules of energy is needed. So 8 kilojoules of energy is needed. That means among this 10, 8 kilojoules of energy is required, is utilized by the atom to break that electron. Now remaining 2 kilojoules of energy is there. That is utilized for the ejection of electron. For the ejection of electron. See here, very, very important. Let us say a 10 kilojoules of energy is incident. Actually, to break the attractive force between this nucleus and the balancing electron, just 8 kilojoules of energy is sufficient. So here the incident energy is 10 kilojoules. That means 8 kilojoules are used to break that energy, the attractive force. Now electron free from the nucleus. Now electron free from the nucleus after utilizing this 8 kilojoules of energy. Now it is just on the surface of that metal end without any attractive force with that nucleus end. Now the remaining 2 kilojoules of energy is absorbed by this electron and increases its kinetic energy and ejected from the metal surface end. That means this 2 kilojoules of energy is used as kinetic energy of electron end. Is used as kinetic energy of electron. So this is incident energy end. This is 2. Now what about this 8 kilojoules of energy? Something work is done here. Work done to break the attractive force. To break the attractive force, something work is done. So that means the incident light is divided into 2 parts. Some work is done and something converted into kinetic energy. Therefore, energy, incident energy is the sum of some work done and kinetic energy of the electron. So this is the way he explained. That is by Einstein. That is by Einstein. For example, actually 8 kilos of energy is required, but instead of 10 kilojoules of energy, there is only 6 kilojoules of energy may be incident. Either electron is ejected from the metal surface, either energy is sufficient to break the attractive force, means it is not possible. And because that incident light energy is less than that of work function. This is nothing but work function. Work function of metal. This is less than the work function of metal energy. That means, so that energy is insufficient. That means every incident beam never releases energy, electron, never ejects electron. Having certain minimum frequency, because as frequency increases, energy increases. As wavelength increases, energy decreases. So having certain minimum frequency is incident on metal surface, minimum. Below the frequency, the electron is not ejected. Because that is less than maybe work function of the metal end. That is less than maybe the work function of the metal end. So that is why a minimum energy is required. Minimum frequency must be required. Every incident light never ejects electron. Minimum frequency, that incident light having certain minimum frequency which is equal or greater than that of work function of the metal end. Work function of the metal. That energy is called as, so that is called as work function, that is the kinetic energy. Finally, the incident energy, incident is equal to work function, it is something work is done, and nothing but energy, work function is also nothing but energy, something energy is used, it is also energy, that is kinetic energy. It is kinetic energy of electron, it is work function of metal energy. That means the incident energy breaks down into 2 fragments, one with work function, other one for kinetic energy conditions. So this is the explanation for Einstein's concept. Now I'm going to readjust these values. See here. Incident energy E is equal to W plus KN. This is called as Einstein's photoelectric equation. equation. Einstein's photoelectric equation. That is Einstein's equation. Now, convert this one into different value set. That is, E is nothing but h nu. So here nu is called as incident frequency and of light. E is equal to h nu is equal to h nu naught n. Nothing but W. This is called as, this nu naught is called as threshold frequency. That is the minimum frequency required. That is the minimum frequency. The threshold frequency means there is a minimum frequency required to break the attractive force between that nucleus and valence electron. Plus kinetic energy. That is half m mass of electron, velocity of electron whole square. Half m square. This is the another form of photoelectric equation. So this is also called as Einstein's photoelectric equation. This is also called as Einstein's photoelectric equation. Here me is the mass of the electron, v is the velocity of the electron. This is the KEN. This is the KEN. Okay. So see here. If incident frequency is equal to threshold frequency, if incident frequency is equal to threshold frequency, that means h nu minus nu naught is equal to KE. Am I correct? H nu minus nu naught is equal to KE. If nu is equal to nu naught, therefore KE is equal to 0 means. That is kinetic energy of electron is 0. That means, see here, this is the metal surface. A beam of light is incident. So this is the nucleus. Here nu naught is required. Here nu. Here the incident frequency and threshold frequency are same. Automatically the attractive force is breakdown. Now electron just on the surface, not ejected like with kinetic energy. So just the attractive force is breakdown. For ejection of electron, there is a need of something more energy. Something more energy. That means ejection of electrons require more than threshold frequency. The frequency of incident light, the frequency of incident light required more than threshold frequency of the metal. More than threshold frequency. What is the threshold frequency? That is the frequency required to break the attractive force between the valence electron and the nucleus of that metal atom. Okay. So that is why this is nu is equal to nu naught. The kinetic energy is equal to 0. Just the electron is that is free from the nucleus, not ejected with a kinetic energy. Not ejected with a kinetic energy. So this is nu is nu naught condition. Now what are the facts that is observed in this photoelectric effect? What are the facts that is applied? What we observed in this photoelectric effect? See here. So what are the observations? Here are the observations. Observations. What are these observations? First of all, first point, there is no time lag between incident light and ejection of electrons. So that means whenever, that is, if a light beam is incident, automatically electron is ejected. So there is no time lag between that ejected electron, this incident light. So automatically at the same time it will happen. So there is no time lag between that incident light and ejected electron. Next, light with any frequency, light with any frequency does not give this effect. Already I told to you, having certain minimum frequency required to eject the electron. Those frequencies which are less than threshold frequency of that metal, so photoelectric effect is not applicable. That means if frequency of incident light is less than threshold frequency, photoelectric effect is equal to 0. Incident frequency is less than that of threshold frequency of the metal, automatically photoelectric effect is 0. That means nu greater than or equal to nu naught. So photoelectric effect is applicable. If nu is equal to nu naught, just kinetic energy is equal to 0. If nu is equal to nu naught, kinetic energy is equal to 0. So ejection of electron takes place only after that is greater than nu naught. Ejection of electron is possible only if nu greater than nu naught. That means all the frequency, any frequency does not lead to the affected. Any frequency does not lead to this affected. Okay. Next point. What are those effects observed by us? Very, very, very important. As the frequency of incident light increases, automatically energy increases. These two for incident light. As frequency of incident light increases, energy increases. As energy increases, kinetic energy of electron increases. That means, for example, see here. It is a metal surface. A certain frequency is incident. 10 kilojoules of energy is applied. To break this one, let it be 8. That remaining with 2 kilojoules of energy, kinetic energy is applied. Kinetic energy. For example, if 20 kilojoules of energy is incident, that is frequency increase. As frequency increases, just 8 is used, remaining 12 is utilized for kinetic energy. That means if we increase the frequency of the light, if we increase the frequency of incident light, that increases the kinetic energy of electron, not for this affected. So this is not influenced, only kinetic energy is influenced. Therefore, there is no time lag between incident light and ejection of electron, and also if we increase the frequency of light, that increases the kinetic energy of electron. Kinetic energy of electron. So as frequency increases, kinetic energy of the electrons increases, but not number of electrons. But not number of electrons. Mind it, but not number of photoelectrons. But not number of photoelectrons. Just the same number of electrons whose kinetic energy is increased. As the frequency increases, automatically the kinetic energy increases. Kinetic energy increases, but not number of photoelectrons. Next point. Next one. Fourth one, it is also important. This is also important. So that is as intensity or otherwise, which is also called as brightness of light increases, as intensity or brightness of light increases, okay, number of photoelectrons also increases. Number of photoelectrons also increases. Therefore, photoelectric effect increases. Therefore, photoelectric effect increases. Therefore, photocurrent also increases. Photocurrent also increases. So it is very, very, very important. So, but kinetic energy is equal to constant. This is very, very important. In previous case, kinetic energy increases. Here, kinetic energy constant. In previous case, number of photoelectrons constant. Number of photoelectrons constant. In previous case, but photoelectrons increases, photoelectric current increases. So, mind it, if intensity or brightness increases, photoelectric current, photocurrent, all these are increased. As frequency increases, only kinetic energy of the electron increases. These 2 points are very, very, very important points towards your photoelectric effect. Towards your photoelectric effect. Okay, so please be mind. So these are very, very important. So what are the points here we are discussing here? As long as light of certain minimum frequency incident on the metal, there is no time lag between the ejected electron. Automatically, at the same time, the electron is ejected. As long as the electron incident light is falling on the metal surface, up to that, electrons are ejected. There is no time lag between incident light and ejected electrons. Incident light and ejected electrons. Next point. Next point. All the frequency of incident light never gives this photoelectric effect. Never gives this photoelectric effect. Having certain minimum frequency only gives photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect. Next point. Next point. As frequency of incident light increases, that increases kinetic energy only, but not number of electrons. Photoelectrons are constant, but kinetic energy of those photoelectrons are increased. But kinetic energy of photoelectrons are increased. But intensity or brightness of the light increases. Intensity or brightness of the light increases. Number of photoelectrons increases. Number of photoelectrons increases. That means in previous case, just 5 electrons may be released. Just 5 electrons may be released. Now it is 10 electrons released. That is number of photoelectrons released. As the number of photoelectrons is released, the current developed due to these electrons, because mobility of electrons is nothing but power end. The power generated by these electrons, the power generated. So mobility of electrons, the direction in which electrons are mobility, automatically the opposite direction is the correct direction. So whenever electrons are migrated, automatically current should be generated. The generated current due to these photoelectrons is called as photocurrent. The generated current due to these photoelectrons, due to those migration of electrons, is called as photocurrent. As number of electrons increases, automatically photoelectrons increases. That means photoelectric effect increases. That is nothing but all these are solar lamps. Solar lamps. So that is sunlight is utilized for the generation of current. That is the photocurrent. That is photoelectric effect. Solar power is automatically photo. The solar lamps are nothing but either potassium or cesium plates. Potassium plates or cesium plates. Some better plates. That is whose ionization energy is less. Okay. So these are very, very, very important. Type photoelectrons. That means, so in previous, light of certain incident. As intensity increases, so force increases. As force increases, ejected electrons increases. That means, as intensity or brightness increases, number of photoelectrons increases. As the frequency increases, kinetic energy of the electron increases. These are very, 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 very important, my dear boys. Okay, all these are clearly explained by Einstein. That is why, for this explanation, but for this simplest explanation, he got Nobel Prize. He got Nobel Prize. So now I'm going to give some graphical representation towards this photoelectric effect. See this? See here, we know the formula H nu is equal to H nu naught plus Ke, or H nu is equal to H nu naught plus half mv square. H nu is equal to H nu naught plus half mv square. Both are same. K is represented with that half mv square. That's enough. Now see here, H nu minus H nu naught is equal to K. See here. Now I am going to take a graph. On y-axis, K is taken. Y is equal to. Okay. It is mx. It is plus Cn. On y-axis, K is taken. On x-axis, incident light is taken. So now I am going to draw a graph which gives a straight line not passing through the horizon, with constant. See here. On y-axis, kinetic energy. kinetic energy, that is maximum kinetic energy, Ke maximum or Ke. On x-axis frequency and on x-axis frequency and okay, it is on x-axis. This gives a straight line. With this gives a straight line. Here intercept value and this C is the intercept. That is a negative intercept end. That is a negative intercept. That means it cuts the negative y-axis. Negative y-axis. That means the line is just like this end. So that is, this is the line. This is the line we observed. If we extrapolated this one, that gives, that cuts the negative y-axis. Okay, this is the point where kinetic energy is equal to 0. This is the point, kinetic energy is equal to 0 and this is the 0 kinetic energy on y-axis. This point is called as mu naught. That is the threshold frequency. That is the threshold frequency. Okay, so for our purpose, so this is the line. This is the line. So see here, so kinetic energy on y-axis, frequency on x-axis, automatically that gives a straight line like this. So where the kinetic energy becomes 0, that particular frequency is nothing but threshold frequency. Here kinetic energy is equal to 0. Threshold frequency. Okay, next one. Next one. If nu is equal to mu naught, automatically Ke is equal to 0. That is why here Ke is equal to 0. Nu is equal to mu naught. Ke is equal to 0. Next one. So this is another one. It is another one. This is nu naught, let it be metal 1, metal 2. It is first metal threshold frequency. It is second metal threshold frequency and second metal threshold frequency. Here slope is equal to m plus h is there and slope is equal to h. That is Planck's constant. So that means these are the graphs when kinetic energy and frequency taking a graph. Next one. If I draw a graph between intensity on x-axis, kinetic energy on y-axis, kinetic energy on y-axis, as intensity increases, number of photoelectrons increases but not kinetic energy. Number of photoelectrons increases but not kinetic energy. So my dear boys, as frequency increases, kinetic energy increases. But as intensity increases, kinetic energy constant, that gives a straight line parallel to the intensity axis. Parallel to the intensity axis. So if you draw a graph between kinetic energy and intensity, that is a straight line parallel to the intensity axis. If you draw a graph between frequency and kinetic energy, as frequency increases, intensity of the kinetic energy of the electron also increases. Where mu is equal to mu naught, there kinetic energy is equal to 0. Their kinetic energy is equal to 0. Now, if I draw a graph, if nu on y-axis, kinetic energy on y-axis, kinetic energy on x-axis, the graph is just like this and just like this. So sometimes up to a minimum frequency, kinetic energy becomes 0 on it, no electron is ejected. After suddenly the kinetic energy like this end. So these are the different graphs that is given by, that is drawn by different parameters. So all these are very important. All these are very important. Next. So the applicative part based on this photoelectric effect. The applicative part based on this photoelectric effect. What is that applicative part? So what is that? See here. Stopping potential. Stopping potential, which is taken as V naught. Stopping potential. What is this stopping potential? So see here. So already I draw a that is the diagram here. This is the diagram for the photoelectric effect. It is negative terminal. It is positive terminal. A beam of light having certain minimum frequency is incident on that metal. Now the electrons are ejected. This is photoelectric effect. This is photoelectric effect. See here. See here. It is negative point. It is positive terminal. This is negative terminal. That is positive terminal. Between this negative and this negative, there is a repulsion. That is already the electron which is emitted automatically ejected from the away from the because of repulsion between them towards that positive end. Now I apply opposite potential and opposite potential. That is, it is positive. It is the negative end. This is taken as positive. That is taken as negative end. Okay, so now the electron which is coming out from the metal surface moving like this, this is the negative potential, this is the negative part. Automatically between these two there is a repulsion. There is a repulsion. If on this metal plate something potential is increased, the repulsion automatically increases. As the repulsion increases, this electron is not moving towards this plate end. So automatically this is come back to original position. Now the ejected electron just staying here. That means as frequency, that is potential increases, up to which the kinetic energy of electron is equal to 0. That is the negative potential applied on this metal plate. Applied on this metal plate to stop that ejected electron. That means to equalize the kinetic energy of that electron is equal to 0. That potential is called as stop. That means the electron is going to stop it. That is why that potential is called as stopping potential. It is a negative potential. That potential is called as stopping potential. What is the stopping potential? That is the minimum. So this is the minimum. The minimum applied reverse potential to stop the photo electron or current. To stop the photocurrent or photoelectron is stopping potential. Indicated with the letter. See here, not new, it is V naught. It is not new, it is V naught. That is stopping potential. Stopping potential. So there. That is nu naught and calculate stopping potential. Sometimes you want to calculate. So this is the stopping potential, very, very important. It is applied reverse potential. It is a reverse potential applied to the against to the mobility of that electron. To stop the kinetic energy of that electron is equal to 0. To equalize the kinetic energy of the electron is equal to 0. Okay. So this is the stopping potential. How to calculate the stopping potential during the problem I will explain here. So this is the topic automatically that is available in your photoelectric effect. Okay, up to this, is there any doubt, my dear boys? Is there any doubt? Photoelectric effect and stopping potential, photoelectric effect equation, that is H nu is equal to H nu naught plus Ke. Okay, so all these are very, very, very important. Now I am going to take some problems based on this. Okay, so sometimes Ke maximum, kinetic energy maximum is equal to E V naught equivalent. V naught is the stopping potential. V naught is the stopping potential. Okay, stopping potential, that is kinetic energy is equal to EQ. This kinetic energies are sometimes equal to EQ. E gets cancelled, the charge is equal to V naught equivalent. Okay. This is all about your photoelectric effect. Here the some terms are used. What are those some terms? Once again, I am going to recollecting. I'm going to recollect all those terms, terminologies. So those are very, very useful towards your problem solving conditions. So problem solving conditions. See here. What are all those? First one, nu is equal to frequency of incident light. Frequency of incident light. Nu naught is equal to threshold frequency of metal surface area. Threshold frequency of metal surface area. Next, W is equal to H nu naught, which is equal to work function, nothing but energy, energy required to break the attractive force between electron and nucleus. Work function is also nothing but energy, one of the forms of energy, and no doubt it has units, energy units in it. Next, Ke is equal to kinetic energy of electron. That is, Ke is nothing but half mve squared. Mass of the electron, velocity of electron. Mass of the electron, velocity of the electron. Ke maximum kinetic energy is equal to EV naught equivalent, which is equal to H nu minus something phi. That is H nu naught. H nu minus something phi, H nu naught. Okay. So E is the incident energy, and E is equal to H nu, incident energy. So that is nu naught threshold frequency. These are the terms frequently used one. Okay. So now the problems. So now the problems on this photoelectric effect. See the problem here. The threshold frequency of for a metal is 7.0 into 10 power 14 second inverse. Calculate the kinetic energy of an electron. Kinetic energy of an electron emitted when radiation of frequency when radiation of frequency 10 power 15 seconds inverse hits the metal. Try to solve it. You want to calculate kinetic energy. What is the photoelectric equation? H nu is equal to H nu naught plus Ke. You want to calculate kinetic energy of the electron. Ke is equal to H into nu minus nu naught. So I want to calculate in joules. That is the H value in joules. 6.625 into 10 power minus 34 nu. That is the incident light frequency. So incident, that is it is nu. This is nu naught threshold length. So that is 10 power 15 minus 7 into 10 power 14. Minus 7 into 10 power 14. So calculate this one. Find how much is the value. That is 1.988 into 10 power minus 10 joules. Minus 10 joules. This is the way to calculate. So very, very important. And first of all, you should know which is U, which is U naught. So try to find out. Try to find out. Okay. Next one. The only one I am going to explain to you. Only one, that is altogether see here, this is the explanation panel. This is the only I am going to explain to you towards your photoelectric cable. This is the last problem. So some more problems I will send to you. Please solve yourself. Work function of metal is work function of metal is 2.1 electron volts. If a beam of light, from monochromatic source whose lambda is equal to 400 nanometers. 400 nanometers is coming to the metal, metal surface. Coming to the metal surface, then ejected electron metal surface, then find the threshold wavelength, maximum kinetic energy of ejected electron, and stopping potential. So in this problem, all models are covered here, and stopping potential. See here, work function of metal, that is W, is given to you. Work function of metal is given to you. A beam of light having, this is lambda angle, incident light or incident light. Find the threshold wavelength. Threshold frequency is nu naught. Threshold wavelength is lambda naught. Lambda naught, KE maximum. How to calculate KE maximum, and stopping potential V naught. These here we are going to calculate. So these are here we are going to calculate. Work function is given to you. Okay. Now, by using this, I am going to calculate incident energy. Energy E is equal to, that is 1 to 400 by lambda, which is in angstroms, and now it is in electron volts. The E value in electron volts. Here, E in electron volts is equal to, this is the formula, 1240 lambda nanometers. Here the lambda value is nanometers, that is 1240 400, which is equal to, finally we will get energy any, that is, just a minute, lambda is given to you. Work function is nothing but energy. By using this work function, let it be work function because it is in electron volts. Work function I am going to calculate, which is equal to W. So therefore W 2.1 is equal to 1240 by lambda in nanometers or 12400 by lambda is in angstroms, whatever it may be. Lambda in angstroms, that is equal to lambda is equal to, after calculation, 6200 angstroms. This is lambda naught n, because work function it is lambda naught n. It is lambda naught. So the first question is lambda naught, that is stopping potential is how much? So that is in angstrom unit. This is the lambda naught n. W is equal to hc by lambda. So that yes, hc by lambda, but it is the simplest way to calculation. So after substituting that h value 6.625 into 10 power minus 34, c value 3 into 10 power 8, finally we will get this value. This is lambda naught, first of all. So the first question is completed. Now kinetic energy maximum and Ke maximum, we know E is equal to W plus Ke. E is equal to W plus Ke. Now Ke is equal to E minus W. E minus W. So E value, from this value E I am going to calculate. E is equal to, by using this formula, 1 to 400 by lambda in nanometers. So lambda in nanometers means 1240 by 400 E value minus W and so W value is given as 2.1 and so 2.1, which is equal to, so the value it is 3.1 minus 2.1, which is equal to 1 and kinetic energy. So that is 1 electron volt. And kinetic energy is 1 electron volt. Now stopping potential. Stopping potential is equal to 1 electron volt by E. 1 electron volt by E. So E gets cancelled, that is 1 volt. E gets cancelled, that is 1 volt. So this is the stopping potential. 1 volt is sufficient for that one. So these are the different conditions required to calculate. So this is work function. From that, I am going to calculate lambda naught. Lambda naught from this one. From this, I am using incident light energy. That is calculated Ke. So from this Ke is equal to E nu naught. But because Ke maximum is equal to E nu naught. E nu naught. So Ke is equal to how much? 1 E. 1 electron volt is equal to EV naught. So E gets cancelled. Therefore, nu naught is equal to 1 V. This is stopping potential. This is stopping potential. These are different conditions. Right? So different conditions, very important. Okay. Here, see once again. From this, kinetic energy is equal to 1 electron volt, which is equal to EV naught. E gets cancelled. 1 electron volt is equal to V naught. 1 electron volt is equal to V naught, which is stopping potential. Similarly, no problem. All these are different ways to calculate stopping potential. Okay, this is all about your photoelectric effects. Some problems based on this photoelectric effect. Next topic. My boys, these are the developments leads to the Bohr's model of atom. This is the science developed between Rutherford's model of atom and Bohr's model of atom. So electromagnetic radiation, light is there. Light is electromagnetic radiation. Light has dual nature. So dual nature is nothing but it has both particle nature and wave nature. Corpuscular theory only explains particle nature, but Highest wave theory contains light has both wave and particle nature. The particle nature of light is explained by this photoelectric effect. So the important application of this photoelectric effect is it explains the particle nature of light. Particle nature of light. Okay. Now this is spectra. The topic is spectra. So from this, what is the evidence? It is the evidence for quantization of energy. Evidence for the quantization of energy. The topic spectra is given. What is spectra? Spectra is nothing but image. It is the image recorded on a paper or something else. It is the image recorded when radiant energy is passed. It is the image recorded when radiant energy passed through prism or grating. Through prism or grating. Grating is one of the instruments for the splitting of light. Through prism or grating. So what is spectrum? So spectrum is nothing but it is the image recorded when a radiant energy is passed through a prism or grating. Let us take one example. So nothing but it is the ordered pattern of wavelength or frequency recorded on screen. This is also called as spectrum. This is nothing but spectrum. Both are whatever you want. So that is with increase of wavelength or with decrease of frequency, with increase of wavelength or with decrease of frequency, when a beam of light is passed over as a prism or grating, so something wavelength or frequency ordered a screen, recorded a screen, that is called as spectrum. See here, I am going to take an explanation to you. That is, let us take a prism. On this, white light is passed. It breaks down into different colors, splitting into 7 colors. This image is nothing but spectrum. These 7 colors. These 7 colors gives a spectrum. That impression is nothing but spectrum. So this splitting of light when it passes through is called as dispersion of light. This is called as a dispersion of light. Splitting of white light into 7 colors when it is passed through a prism is called as dispersion of light. So that dispersion is taken an image on a screen. That image is nothing but spectrum. That image is taken as spectrum. So the device used to draw this spectrum is called as spectrometer. So spectrometer, it is the device used to draw a spectrum is called as a spectrometer. This spectrum is unique for every atom. Atom to atom, the spectrum is different. It is just like nothing but fingerprint of spectrum atom. Fingerprint of atoms. So just like our fingerprints, no two fingerprints are equal. No two persons' fingerprints are equal. Just like that, no two atoms having same spectrum. So based on this spectrum, we can identify those elements also. Those compounds, those elements So the structure of those compounds, all those are we are going to analyze by using this spectrum. Okay. Here spectrum is broadly divided into different categories depending on the existence. So now types of spectrum. Now types of spectrum. Spectrum may be broadly divided into two categories. Depending on this, I will explain later. Please be listen here. One is continuous spectrum and discontinuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum, discontinuous spectrum. So for this, examples are light from incandescent source. Nothing but an iron rod, which is heated very strongly. That means, so it has a reddishness in that iron rod. After heating, a strong heating, that reddishness is observed. That reddishness, something more strong, it is going to blue, and something strong, it is white in color. Okay, so that means the light is continuously emitted. So that is nothing but a continuous spectrum. Yes. Next one, discontinuous, breaking down. Now this is discontinuous spectrum is further divided into two categories. That is emission spectrum and absorption spectrum. Absorption spectrum, emission spectrum. Okay. So this absorption spectrum may be a line spectrum or band spectrum. There also emission spectrum may be a line spectrum or a band spectrum. Line spectrum is from due to atoms. When atoms are involved, line spectrum is there. When molecules are there, band spectrum is available. Here also same. So lines means a distinct lines are observed. Bands means a combination of different lines. That is, see here. This is one band. This is another band. So just like closely spaced lines. So this is bands. This type of bands are possible in band spectrum. That is due to molecules. This is due to atoms. All these are different types of spectrum. So continuous spectrum, discontinuous spectrum. Continuous means continuously without any breaking. A spectrum is not. That is continuous spectrum. There is a gap between them. Automatically there is a discontinuous spectrum. That discontinuous spectrum is automatically two types. It is emission spectrum or absorption spectrum. I am going to explain the emission spectrum and absorption spectrum. What is the emission continuous spectrum and absorption discontinuous spectrum? Emission discontinuous and absorption discontinuous spectrum. Emission, absorption. First of all, I am going to draw absorption spectrum. Absorption spectrum. See here. What is this absorption spectrum? Let us take a gas. Let it be hydrogen gas. Let it be hydrogen gas. These are all atoms of hydrogen. Atoms of hydrogen. Through this hydrogen, light is passed. Light is passed. So in this light, a fraction of light is absorbed by this material. A fraction of light is absorbed by material and remaining is coming out. This is light after absorption. This is the light after absorption. Now this light is incident on prism. This light is incident on prism. That is absorbed after absorption. Light is coming out. Now this is diverted. This gives a spectrum. This is the spectrum, which is the light after absorption by some substance. That's why this is called as absorption spectrum. Absorption spectrum. This absorption spectrum, see here, white light contains all colors. All colors. Some colors are absorbed here. Remaining colors coming out. Only those remaining colors are here end. That means those absorbed colors are here end. Those absorbed colors here a dark end. That is some dark lines. Lines are observed in bright screen. So this screen is a bright screen. That screen is a bright screen. Some dark lines are observed. What are those dark lines? Those lines are not coming there. So where is those colors? Those colors are observed here. Okay, that means a dark lines are observed in bright screen is nothing but absorption spectrum. So the bright background, dark lines are observed. Bright background, dark lines are observed. So those dark lines are missed colors, missed wavelengths, or missed frequencies. So frequently used one is missed wavelengths. So those missed wavelengths are appear like that. Dark lines and dark lines. That means after absorption, some remaining is taken as colors. That is why it is taken as the absorption spectrum. Absorption spectrum. Now I am going to explain one more. See here. This is the material. This is the material. Heated strongly. Heated strongly. So now from this glowing of light is available. It is excited substance. Excited substance. After heating, it is excited substance. From this, light is emitted. Emitted light. Now I am going to take emitted light. Now this emitted light is going on prism and incident on prism. That gives different colors. That gives different. This is the spectrum. That means this spectrum has dark background. Dark background. Bright lines are observed. Bright lines are observed. That means that bright lines are emitted light from this heated material. Heated material. That means after emission, emitted light is taken as spectrum. That is called as emission spectrum. That is called as emission spectrum. After absorption some light, there is a spectrum is taken. That is called as absorption spectrum. This is emission spectrum. This is emission spectrum. If the spectrum is just like lines, that is line spectrum. It is just like bands. Already I draw there. That is just like bands. That is called as band spectrum. Both emission and absorption spectrums are line spectrum and band spectrum. Both are existent. Both are exist. So spectrum is nothing but image or impression drawn when light of certain wavelength, when light is incident on as a prism or grating, it flips. That is collected on a screen. That image is taken as a spectrum. Okay, when a beam of light first of all passes through a material, some fraction of light is some wavelengths are absorbed in that material. After absorption, the remaining light is coming out. The remaining wavelengths are coming out. If that light is collected as a spectrum, that is called as absorption spectrum. When a material is heated strongly, some light is emitted. If that light is taken as spectrum, that is incident on prism and connected as spectrum, that is called as emission spectrum. If they are in same light, that just like a light, that is light spectrum. If they are gives a band, that gives a band spectrum. Someone asked me, what is grating, sir? Grating is nothing but another form of prism-like material. So prism is a triangle that is pyramidal shape. Prism is pyramidal shape, but grating is just like a plate, a rectangular plate or something. So just a plate that also disperse, that also disperse that light energy. So it is another instrument for the dispersion of light, just like our prism. Okay, so these are different spectra or something else. Based on all these conditions, photoelectric effects, so something Planck's quantum theory, by using all these conditions, now tomorrow I am going to explain both theory, both atomic model. Okay, that is very, very important towards your concepts, towards your studies. So both theory. Okay, so tomorrow I am going to take both atomic spectrum. Thank you.